Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. Round 17. First week post-buys is... Hang on, I'll start that again. It's recording here. Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. Round 17 is done and first week post-buys is in the books. Yeah, not a bad week at all. So 2,306... round rank of 2,806 as well. And that's my two best round ranks back-to-back for the season. So coming at a decent time there. Up 989 spots against about 1,000 spots. Up to 4,352. And my goal was checked. I said I just wanted to get inside the top 5K this week. And we'll keep moving forward. And to move up to, just outside 4K is really, really nice. So obviously the goal next week will be hopefully to crack inside the top 4K. And hopefully just keep churning away the last, 18, 19, 20, 22, 20. 7 weeks. 7 weeks to go. So last 7 weeks, let's just see where we can get to. Top 1,000 is obviously the goal that I'm trying to set myself. But a few weeks like last week, it would be nice on the run home. So, but yeah, team value going up a bit as well. Up near 24.6, which is nice. With some rookies making some good cash and some red dots for a lot of the season becoming green dots last week, which we'll talk about very, very soon. But plus and minus 3 for the week. It was very, very hard to split the plus 3 between Nasai Wangani Miller and Ryan Marshall, but I decided to go with Ryan Marshall being the slightly more unique player there. 140 points, 96 points second half. Considering he lost the hit-out battle by 30, was really good to see him put up a massive score. That was obviously his second highest score of the season. I think he went 150 against the Eagles early, 158 against the Eagles, but 140. We know that he can do this, and 3 of his last 4 has been over 119 points. So getting it done. Just the stat lines, like 21 touches, 7 marks, 8 tackles, 29 hit-outs, and kicked a goal. Kicked goal late as well, pretty much on the siren. So really happy with his score. But obviously, shout to Nasai as well. 145 is a massive, massive score. -3. It's got to go to Miles Bergman, unfortunately. Not really of a fault of his own, as Tom said on the pod last night. But 64 points. 2 of his last 3 have now been under 70. The injuries, unfortunately, was just the reason that he went behind the ball. So started in the midfield, had 11 CBAs in the first quarter. But when Radigali went down with a hamstring, I think Vicentini went down with an ankle, and obviously Papep was more the Radigalia one, was the big one. So Bergman went more into defence and didn't score much outside that. I think he was on about 26 points in the first quarter. He still was on 57 at three-quarter time, but yeah, obviously just that role not very good, and in a tough matchup against Brisbane, I was hoping that he was going to stay in the midfield. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with this week, that role can just change in-game, and I wonder how much time those guys are going to miss. So he is someone that will be on the chopping block for me this week. But yeah, that's a plus and -3. So let's get into the other scorers here. So what do we got? So Nasai, 145, as I mentioned. Just a massive score. Had first time over 40 disposals in his career, had over 1,000 metres gained. 3 of his last 4 have been over 125. That was obviously a season high score. That's probably a career high score as well. And the thing obviously last year he didn't have was the ceiling. This year he's obviously hitting that ceiling multiple times. Like there's so many scores over 120, there's a number over 120 as well. And there's just who can stop him? Like they tried stopping him as well in this game. They used, I think it was Ginnivan at times and some other players, but they just couldn't do anything about him. So this week, I would be shocked if Braden Campbell doesn't go to him, and he kept Jordan Clark to a 46. So that will be a really interesting test to see how Nasai can go with some attention like that coming his way. Then he goes into Geelong, which I wouldn't be shocked if they played Mullen for the week as like a defensive forward on Nasai there. Then they've got Melbourne, North, Richmond, Essendon in the 4-week stretch, which I think Nasai will go well. So maybe if you don't have him, maybe you try and bank on a few tags the next couple of weeks and you sort of go without. But obviously, yeah, if you don't have him, you don't want to watch St Kilda games at the moment because he's just absolutely dominating at the moment. Clearly the number 1 averaging defender, and he's moved actually to the number 3 highest averaging player now. There's only 3 players now averaging over 110. Obviously, Dawson's gone under that now, being Baz, Gawn, and Nasai. Obviously, Gawn's dropped a couple of lower ones of late, and Baz has missed, obviously, a couple of games this year. So there you go. Max Holmes, 122. Very happy taking that as the VC. Obviously, with Bailey Smith being out, I shifted my VC over to Max Holmes. I was when he was on about, I think, 106, sort of midway through the last cross, almost thinking, well, I either want him to go nuts or I wanted to not touch it so I can take it on and take another captain. And I was actually going into Ryan Marshall as my captain. So obviously lost 18 points there, but it is what it is. More often than not, you're going to take it on and it's going to bite you. So I'm happy banking a 122 as my captain. Very happy with him there. Harry Sheasel, 93. It's okay. He probably got a bit unlucky. I think a few teammates didn't pass him when they probably could have. He had a number of tackles that he tackled the player and they just got the handball out to a teammate, which was unfortunate. So that could have easily been a 105, 110 in a tricky matchup against the Dogs. Comes up against Melbourne this week. Better matchup. I'm still fine with Sheasel there. The role was better, playing a bit more on the CBAs. And obviously, I think Parker will be back this week, but obviously LDU will miss with concussion. And Wardlaw's obviously still going to be out as well. So I think Sheasel will still get some CBAs. But yeah, I think he'll still be fine. So I think another good score there. Josh Dacos, 84. His last few weeks have been frustrating. I brought him in obviously post-buy, 101, 97 and 84. The 101, he obviously slowed down a heap at halftime. West Coast again slowed down, and this game against Carlton didn't really have that big quarter. He had every quarter he went over 20, but was just sort of low 20. Actually, he might have had a 19 or 18 point quarter, but still just not quite enough. But he's got Gold Coast, Freo, Richmond, particularly the Gold Coast and Richmond game. Obviously, I'm looking at that going, he could go absolutely massive there. So definitely not looking at trading him out. But yeah, he's obviously someone that maybe once those 3 games are done, maybe I'll look at moving him on to one of those guys I don't have. Callum Mills, 95. Really happy with that. Took 7 kick-ins, which Blakey took 4, and they were the only 2 guys that took kick-ins in this game. So the role for Mills is pretty solid. 95 obviously was a better score. So 3 of his 4 games come after suspension have been over 95. Obviously, it was just that one score of 67 against the Dogs. Probably putting that down a little bit to the matchup there, but he does come up against St Kilda and North Melbourne in his next two pretty good matchups. I think Mills is someone that you could potentially look at targeting, but he's obviously someone I'll hold for the time being as well. So good score from him. Colby McKercher, 124. This is one thing I just said, that if he could add the marks, I could see a bigger score coming. And I didn't expect against the Dogs, because Dogs have been pretty tricky for really anyone to score against this year. But yeah, 32 disposals, 9 marks. Really good to see. They look for him a lot more for those little chip kicks as well. So he's obviously making some good cash. He's up to 833. I think it's not quite too late, but you'd want him to keep going at this 95 plus clip to be a good pick. But yeah, obviously he might still make a bit more cash for you with a break-even of 41. Going over to, obviously, Angus Hasty, 69. He was obviously the guy I was referring to, where red dot turning into a green dot, which part of it's good, right? Because he went up 38k this week, scored 69, was good as cover, but it didn't allow me to loop, obviously, on the bench. And if he's going to stay in the team moving forward, I don't have a loop guy, really. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Like Bustlinger will be the guy that I'll probably loop this week, but he plays on Saturday, so it's like I've only got the first 2 games, and then they've still got, they've got a Friday night game the week after, Friday night game the week after that, Thursday night game. Like, it's an awful play to have there as a loop. So, yeah, it's tricky what I'll be able to do with the loops. But yeah, Hasty, 69. He did turn his first 3 kicks over, and they were pretty obvious kicks as well that he turned over. So I wonder if he does keep his spot, but he did do some good things in the second half. So it'd be interesting to see. He took a nice mark as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he keeps his spot in the team. And obviously, Bustling didn't play again. Moving to the midfield, some good performance and some sort of performing guys as well. So John Dawson, 94. Was looking like a good score for a lot of the day. I know Oliver went to him for a bit of that as well. Gave away 3 free kicks, and they were all in the last quarter as well, which was really frustrating. 25 touches, 4 marks, 7 tackles. Just hasn't had a big game for a while. So hasn't gone over 110 since round 11, which was that West Coast game where he went the back-to-back 130. So his last 5, he's gone 86, 109, 97, 105, 94. So literally up, down to a low score, low ton, low score, low ton. So it's, yeah, interesting. Comes up against the Dogs this week. I don't really think they've got anyone that will go with him necessarily. Then Gold Coast, a good matchup. Then we'll have Port, so you would assume that'll be a Bergman sort of tag there. Then Hawthorn, a bit tricky. Then West Coast, Collingwood, North to finish. So we're not trading him out, right? But maybe if you don't have him, maybe you're probably waiting a week or 2 for him to maybe drop a little bit more. But yeah, just been a bit unders Dawson the last few weeks. Andrew Brayshaw, again, another player that's probably been a bit down the last 3 weeks. 104, 99, 85 in his last 3. So yeah, not great from him. Obviously, Hawthorn, then Collingwood, then West Coast, which is good, but then Carlton, Port, Brisbane. So Free don't really have a very good run at all to finish the year. Really, West Coast is the only good matchup I see there because Hawthorn, Collingwood are not great. Carlton is okay. Port obviously is tough. Brisbane and Bulldogs are tough. So, yeah, I don't think you're trading out of Brayshaw, but it's just not many good matchups to come, unfortunately. Connor Rozee was good as well, 111. Excuse me, sorry, I knew that was coming for a while. 111 was good. He had the flu during the week as well, but to score a 111 against Brisbane in a tough matchup was really good. So happy with him. Obviously, he just keeps getting it done week in, week out up against the West Coast this week. So could be I know West Coast aren't great for defenders, but I think Rosee's not a traditional defender. He'll demand the ball a lot more, so I think he'll have a good score there. Nick Dacos, you could arguably put as your M1 at the moment, averaging 107 now for the season. His last, 6 weeks have been very, very good. 129, 128, 83, 102, 137, 132. And the 83 was obviously the Melbourne Langdon tag and then the St Kilda Windy tag. So comes up against Gold Coast, Freo, Richmond. I think Gold Coast will be a good matchup for him. Freo, maybe Wagner goes to him again. And then Richmond, great matchup again. So two of his next three will be really good. I think if you don't have Nick Dacos, he's still a good target. He's back up to pretty much what he was when a lot of people jumped on him, 1.09 million. But at this time of the year, obviously, we're happy to part for a few more guys. So I think he is a guy that you can definitely look at targeting. Tom Green, I could have given the +3 to that last quarter. That was something. 53 points in the last quarter. And, 104. It was good to ton up. He's now tonned up in 4 of his last 5, which is good. I was probably expecting him to go more than 104 against West Coast. But at the end of the day, I can't really complain with a ton in the end. Geelong and Essendon, the next 2. Pretty good matchups there. Pretty happy with having him there. Hopefully he can put up some better scores, or at least not be on 50 at three-quarter time and have to save it. So be happy with him with the ton. Marcus Bontempelli, obviously he was one that we were a bit sort of annoyed about and stressed about, but 133. He's now gone 2 good scores in his last 3. Obviously just a few of those real poor scores. So his last month he's gone 50, 120, 72, 133. Comes up against the Crows this week. Maybe does Dawson and Bont go head-to-head? That would be pretty good if they went head-to-head with each other. But Adelaide don't tag, so I fully expect Bont to have another pretty good game. He does like playing the Crows. I think his average is, 108.2. So he does have some good scores on the Crows there. So I do think he'll have a good game this week. Doc, 84. I didn't watch a huge amount of this game, obviously being out and about, and I watched more of the West Coast Giants game, obviously owning Tom Green, so I wanted to see how he went. But Doc, he's got defender status, which is nice. 918k, played in the back pocket from what Tom that was saying last night on the pod. His break-even's 95, up against Brisbane this week. It's either going to be him or Bergman that go for me, and I'm not exactly sure which way I'm going to land on that just yet. Maybe I go for trading out Bergman because Doc has still got a break-even under 100, and I can actually loop him, whereas I probably don't. Well, I won't be able to loop Bergman this week, right? So it'll just be whatever score he does. He does have West Coast, which is a decent enough matchup, obviously. But if he's playing defence, I'm not sure how that's going to go. But will be one that's very interesting to see which way I go. But obviously Doc, 84. He was on 40 points a quarter time, which I was really excited about seeing that. But 44 points around the game was obviously disappointing there. But he's been a good pick anyway. What's he done? He's obviously gone, since I've had him, he went, 71, 131, 93, 84. So the 131 was great, but been slightly underwhelming, I guess, the other 3 matchups. But made some cash. He's up over 900k to 918. So maybe I take advantage of that cash there. Miles Bergman, 800. I was going to say his price 839k. Yeah, there you go. But 64, obviously mentioned before with the role change there. He's someone on my chopping block. Tom McCarthy went up another huge amount in cash. I think he went up 96k. Or something like that. 95k, 489k is not minus 17 break even. Still got plenty more cash to make, and still going to be a handy D7 M9 that I'll be using to loop. Harry Rouston, again, made some good cash as well. Went up 64k to 391. Still a break even of -5. So still a little bit of cash to make there. Marshall obviously mentioned before the 140. Tristan Cherry, that was a 110, 115 plus score. Really gone begging, obviously with having to go off the last 15 minutes with the HIA, but apparently passed his test and everything like that, so we'll see. He should be fine to play because he passed. Obviously, we know with delay concussion that can happen, so just something to watch out for. But comes up against Gawn, then into Grundy, so a pretty tricky 2-week stretch, but then goes Geelong, St Kilda, Giants, Richmond, then the Crows. So it's a good sort of 4 of the last 5 weeks to go. But he's down at literally about $1 million, 999K. It's to get up to like a Gawn, it's 130, 140K. To get up to even a Grundy, it's like getting closer to 200K. It's just so expensive to go for. Like if you've got team value of like 25 plus million, you could consider doing that trade. But in my situation, I don't have the cash to do that, because if I'm doing that, I'm foregoing like a Bergman or Doc to one of those bigger midfielders, which I think is probably the trade I'll be looking at doing. And I do expect Cherry to turn it round. Just a lower score from X this week with the HIA. Moving to the forwards, obviously, because Boyd was my captain for the week, obviously with him not playing and taking the home score. But yeah, Luke Jackson with an 89. It's slightly unders, right? But he's been obviously great. He's well over $1 million as well. His first sub-ton for a couple of weeks. But yeah, 89, tough matchup against Grundy. Kicked a couple of goals, so that is the fourth game in a row. He's kicked over 2 goals or more. Which is good, and he's still got some of those CBAs. I didn't watch a huge amount of this game, being at the Crows game, but I wonder if he had some. I'm assuming he had some of those CBAs as a midfielder, because actually, I'll just have a look here, because I'll be able to tell, right? So I'll just look at CBAs for Sydney. What were the CBAs for the Sydney Rucks? So you had Grundy had 23, and then McLean had 5, right? So you got 28 CBAs in total there, and then there was 19 and 13. So what's that? 32 CBAs. So no, 30. Yeah, 32. Sorry, yeah, I was right. 32 CBAs. So yeah, 5 CBAs as a midfielder there for Luke Jackson. So a little bit of midfield time there, but some forward as well. Nick Martin disappointing. The forward line in general was obviously disappointing, right? No one turned up in my forward line this week, and Nick Martin won with the 74. Not great, but comes up against Richmond this week. It is a great matchup. He scored obviously a 166 earlier in the year against them. He'll obviously be high up in the captains again, just with the matchup. Chris Petrarca with a 70. Yeah, he's just been a frustrating own, unfortunately, Petrarca. So he had obviously that good month from rounds 5 to 8, where he went 104, 100, 114, 121. But from then on, 92, 84, 104, 75, 89, 81, 105, and 70. So I'm talking about like he's only got the 2 tons, but he hasn't had many scores over 90. Like he had the 92 against Hawthorn, but then the 84 against Brisbane, 75 against St Kilda, 89 against Collingwood, 81 against Port, and then 70 against the Crows. But albeit Crows, Port, Collingwood, Brisbane, and Hawthorn are all tougher matchups. Obviously, St Kilda was just a poor game from him as well. He does have a good month, though. He's got North, Carlton, St Kilda, West Coast. I expect some good scores. So I'm not trading him out, but yeah, it's just frustrating. Hopefully, he can put up some good tons in the last few weeks there. Moving down in the forward line to get rid of that. I don't know why it's saying that utility bit there, but Chad Warner, 97. He was on 9 points at quarter time, and to get to 97 was really good in the end. Obviously, we know he's just more of an impact player, right? He's not going to be a fantasy scorer. Like his marks have been down for a while now. Yeah, he hasn't taken more than 5 since round 2, and that's the only game he's taken more than 5 marks. His tackles, he had 6. That's back-to-back weeks where he's had 6 tackles, which is nice, keeps that floor up. But obviously, he's not getting huge amounts. So he had 19 touches, 24 disposals, then 17 before that, 22, 19, 27, 30. So the Carlton game was the last time he had 30 touches. So, yeah. But at the end of the day, he's got a decent run coming up. St Kilda, North, Giants, Essendon next month is good. He'll probably just stay there. But, yeah, he's someone that maybe at some point I might be able to upgrade depending on who is there for other options. Kyle Lohmann was my Bailey Smith cover, and I had the choice between Auger and Lohmann, and obviously went for Lohmann, which I was worried about the sub because I looked at the bench and was thinking Lohmann could be a sub, but then I thought, well, he played so well before the bye against Geelong, I can't see him being sub, and thankfully he wasn't. 58, if someone said to me before the game, he'll score 58, I'll say, fine, that's good, I'll take that. But knowing that he was on 59 at three-quarter time and he scored -1 in the last quarter, that was just a bit of a sour taste in the mouth because it could have been a 70, 75, and that would have been pretty good. And maybe that would have been me inside top 4K. But at the end of the day, is what it is. I know people had donuts and even had the Arga 8, so I'll take 58. But yeah, obviously would have liked slightly more after being on 59 at three-quarter time. Caleb Daniel with a 90. That was obviously a good score. First time over 80 for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, had a really good, I think it was the third quarter. He had like 30-odd points. Which is good to see. Goes into Melbourne this week, so good matchup. But yeah, he'll be someone eventually I'll want to move on. But him at F6 for the time being isn't the worst. But yeah, I would like to move off him at some point very, very soon. Then Bailey Smith obviously laid out again. Illness this time. I said on the pod last night. It's just, Geelong knew. Jeremy Cameron said before the game that they knew the day before, late in the afternoon. It's just like, why can't Geelong name it out earlier on? I know Geelong do this all the time, but I wish that they implemented what the NFL do, where as soon as something happens, you need to pretty much submit it to the NFL. Otherwise, it's like a $15,000, $20,000 fine for the club. And I wish it would be something like that if they do that in the future. That's the only way they're really going to be able to get this team news stuff sorted and late changes, because it's just ridiculous at this point. But at the end of the day, it's what happens. So, he was out. As I said, I wasn't able to update my trades because I had traded in Rouston and Green, who obviously were locked out the night before, and traded out Long, who was locked out the night before as well. And Boxer was the only one I could have edited, but he was obviously a mid and Baz is a forward, and I had nowhere to edit it. And obviously, Algo with an 8 obviously got that injury early as well, which is disappointing because he was looking like a decent cash cow. Played out the game, so I expect him to stay in the team. I don't think he's going to get dropped because he was playing a bit injured there. Comes up against Eston, so if he stays in the team and not sub, he might be able to put up an okay score and make some more cash. But his break-in's back to 25, so pretty much almost like his basement again. And then, Manny Liddy obviously didn't play, but -6 break-even. I do expect him to come back into the team with a few of those injuries to Port as well. I just feel like he's probably the guy that will come in for Pau Pepper, who unfortunately did his ACL in the game of Port. I don't know if it's been officially confirmed, but that's pretty much what Port have said, that they expect that to come back as. So, very unfortunate with a couple of injuries. Well, I think Rochelle, a knee injury as well. Hopefully not an ACL there as well. But yes, that is how we went in round 17. In terms of my trades for this week, I'm sort of unsure of what I'm going to do. Ideally, it'd be like Lohman down to maybe like an Archer May or another forward rookie and make some cash. But then I don't really have that red dot because I expect Liddy to come back in. But do I really want to trade Liddy, MacArthur, Rassa? No. Do I just trade Angus Hasty because he's in the team? I know he's going to make cash, but I need a red dot somewhere. I think Rouston, Liddy, and McCarthy have all got negative break-evens. They're going to make money. It just makes it tricky, right? If Hasty were to get dropped or something, then that makes it easy. I could go, if I wanted to, maybe do I just go Buslinger down to a 230k red dot just to get a defender mid red dot, because he's not going to help me with looping. And if all these guys are making cash, maybe I'll just leave it at that. So it's going to be interesting to see what I do. Looking at going one of Bergman or Doc up, that's the upgrade I'm looking at. Obviously got a few targets in mind. So like Whitfield's an option if I want to go there. I know he's got a 150 break-even, but I do want Goulden. So if I go Lohman down, Goulden would be the guy that I'd look at targeting. He's got St Kilda this week, so if Windy was to go to him, that would obviously be maybe a lower score there, but maybe I'd jump on him anyway just to get him in. So I'm unsure what exactly I'm going to do. Like Merritt with Richmond matchup, maybe I'll go there for a week, but then I'll still have one of Doc or Berman, so it doesn't probably make sense for my team to do a 1 week play. So obviously I'll let people know what I'm doing with trades later in the week. So let me know in the comments below, guys, how you went in round 17. Let me know your score, your round rank, your overall rank, and your plus and minus threes for round 17. I'm interested to see how you guys are going as we sort of enter the last part of the season. If you do want a team review, obviously start of the week, so if you guys would like an opinion or anything like that, me to go over your team, you can get your team reviews and Ask Me on Cue, but all patrons get that for free. So if you'd like to head to our Patreon, go to patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. You get all your guaranteed answers to all your questions there, just because I can't get to all of the platforms throughout the week. Just don't have enough time, unfortunately. So if you'd like to do that, get guaranteed to answer your question, team reviews, and bonus content. Also, just want to help support us a little bit extra, head to patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. Link is in the description of the video. But if you did enjoy the video, do smash a big thumbs up on the video. That would be very, very much appreciated. It does really help out liking the video and subscribing. So if you can do both those things, that would be absolutely fantastic. And make sure you do subscribe to our channel. We're getting close to 4,100 subscribers. So obviously 5K is the next big goal. So if you can subscribe, and obviously got daily content for the remainder of the season. Then we've got AFLW content will start rolling in maybe the next couple of weeks, because obviously we're 5 weeks away from the season starting. So yes, if anyone is keen to jump into some AFLW stuff, we'll be doing a little bit on the channel throughout the season for that as well. So, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we'll be back tomorrow night for our Q&A. As always, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Perth time, answering all your AFL fantasy questions. live on YouTube, as we always are. So looking forward to answering all your questions there. But thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Catch you guys tomorrow night in the Q&A. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. See ya.